I'm really grateful to be able to present my work with fellow enthusiasts. And just a little bit about me, I'm currently a sophomore at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and my project revolves around building an AI teaching assistant for a um, introductory programming class using LLMs. The title, the title of mm, the AI teaching assistant is Lumina. That's what we call it. And just a little bit about it. Um, so what's special about it is that it's just not another chatbot. So it is a state-of-the-art AI system that is designed to um help students think critically and solve problems on their own rather than simply handing them the answers. Today, I'll take you through the full journey of building Lumina, um, from the motivation behind it to the cutting edge technologies that power it to help it make sure that the students receive the best help they can. And finally, the results we've seen so far, as well as the challenges and the exciting future directions for the project. Um, let's start with the motivation behind Lumina. So EC 120, it's a critical course that it's an introductory course that a lot of computer engineers have to take at a university. But a lot of the issues is that the course moves at an extremely rapid pace, which can be overwhelming for students, especially the C programming unit, as many students struggle to keep up, which leaves them ill prepared for subsequent classes. As now, since everyone has access to GPT and DeepSeek and any LLM, they can simply just ask the LLM, give me the answer and it'll do it. But this does not help the student learn in any way. So that's where Lumina comes in. Um, and to address these challenges, we developed Lumina, an AI teaching assistant using GPT-4, LangChain, and retrieval augmented generation. Some of the advantages it has, since it's an LLM, it provides instant round-the-clock support to students, functioning much like a live teaching assistant. So, for example, a live teaching assistant will not, simply provide the answer to the student. They would instead prompt the student to think on their own and arrive at the solution themselves, kind of just providing simple guide rails. That's kind of what the essence of what that we were trying to capture when building Lumina. Um, to address the challenges, as I mentioned, we built this AITA using GPT-4, and we used specific hint generation approaches based on prior research projects similar to this, which I'll get to in a minute, in order to guide the students' thinking rather than simply spoon feed them the answer and hinder their learning. Um, One of the key approaches that we use is a tool called knowledge components. It's a educational framework that you can that the LLM uses in order to debug or provide debugging assistance to the student. So um, um, if I show you the knowledge components over here, um, um, yeah. So essentially, these are the knowledge components that we're using, where syntax and structure, memory management, data types and operations, input output, debugging techniques, and code organization. These are kind of six pillars that the LLM uses in order to determine the best hints to provide to the students. And based on our evaluation, this has helped the students a lot based on student feedback and the evaluation process using semantic similarity and other metrics that I will explain later. But this is kind of the one of the state-of-the-art approaches that we use in our in our tool. Um, and Lumina builds on several research projects that have demonstrated the potential of AI in education. For example, the Berkeley CS61 tutor bot showed how AI assistants can significantly improve perform programming skills through personalized feedback on code submission. So every time a student submitted a code checkpoint, the AI would automatically analyze the code and then provide feedback on the students to improve. And based on both looking at student submission times and their feedback, the researchers at Berkeley were able to quantitatively determine that AI in education has a positive impact. Um, and similarly, students at Virginia Tech also showed how AI tools like ChatGPT can enrich student learning and support teaching assistants in providing prompt resources to aid students. Another key inspiration for Lumina is a tool called Course Assist, which is a LLM-based system for computer science education. And it demonstrates kind of how retrieval augmented generation ensures pedagogical alignment and accuracy of responses, making it a powerful tool for AI-driven education because all of these tools, kind of what their purpose is to make sure that the LLM doesn't hallucinate and has not and has data to support its answers, making sure that the student receives accurate information for their learning. Um, and kind of an example of how it works is, for example, if a student is struggling with a pointer related error in their C code, Lumina can um, automatically search up all the pointer related content or text from the textbook that we have provided to this teaching to this model using retrieval augmented generation in order to determine the best course of action. In a moment, I will provide the link in the chat so you guys can all access Lumina too. It's currently live. Um, and um, yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, Lumina um, had the best was built from the scratch using proven hit generation strategies with the to make sure that it's able to offer tailored assistance to address specific challenges of C programming in order to provide those novice programmers uh, a good guardrail instead of just spoon feeding them the solutions and making sure that they have round the clock support. Now I'm just gonna go give a quick glimpse into the technical architecture. So as I mentioned earlier, we used LangChain GPT-4 and um, retrieval augmented generation. Those are the kind of the three techniques and tools we use to build Lumina. And actually, we use an AI agent instead of just a simple LLM. So Lumina is actually an AI agent with the capabilities of having these tools. So we have a knowledge component tool, a course textbook tool, which allows the Lumina to look up any course textbook information related to the query they submit. And then we actually use the React framework, which allows the agent to reflect and act on its previous actions as well as plan further. Um, and then and how we evaluated Lumina was that we used multiple metrics. So when we first deployed it, we looked at the reliability of the model, which was the error rate, which reflects how often the model encounters technical issues. Um, just to make sure that the overall process runs smoothly. And then once we were able to determine and make sure that the uh, overall program was running smoothly, we evaluated it more on traditional NLP metrics. So we used metrics such as semantic similarity, string similarity, blue and rouge on a Stack Overflow dataset to see how well it does in debugging solutions and offering data sets. For research purposes, I cannot reveal the metrics, but we used the Ragus library in order to determine how, in order to actually evaluate the model. Um, and yeah, um, just just to conclude now for the future developments or planned developments that we have, we're planning on experimenting with multi-agent systems actually, where we have one agent that's specific for providing course definitions and just to answer simple questions, a debugging agent that's fine-tuned to make sure that it has the most um, it has all it's specialized for debugging alone. And we can have another tool as well for searching up Stack Overflow um, to see if there's any similar errors in order to provide the student with the most accurate response. Um, so yeah, that concludes my talk. If you guys want to access Lumina, this is kind of what it looks like. Just the interface where you can just type your message here. So first, I've currently logged in, but usually you have to create an account. It takes about 5 seconds to do it, and once you can do it, you can start learning and type a query in. Um, I can put the chat over here if you guys want to access it at your own time. Um, but yeah, that concludes my talk. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys want to reach out to me over any questions or just talk about it, you can always reach me on LinkedIn.